spin-off light novel was translated thanks to Hoshi801. His links will be in the description. I read over the light novel and will give a summary into what goes on in the light novel. We start off in chapter 1. Rin likes ice cream. That's why Sae always buys Rin a cheap popsicle that he can buy with his allowance at the penny candy store. Now on the contrary, Rin might have liked anything, be it ice cream or chocolate, as long as Sae brought it for him. We have the older brother, Itoshi Sae, 13 years old, the younger brother, Itoshi Rin, 11 years old. They're on the way home from a practice match, while gazing at the afterglow at the sea. The two of them sat on the embankment and had popsicles again today. Rin, what are you thinking about when you play soccer? Sae asked. Rin scored 2 goals in today's match. Meanwhile, Sae scored 3 points with a hat trick. His Nichan is great after all. Rin says, nothing. I guess it's just about goals. I just run to the bad area and the Nichan passes to me. What do you mean by bad area? Sae asks while playing with the stick in his mouth. The area the enemy falls through. Sae let his younger brother's words quietly seep into his mind. You rely too much on your intuition, you know, Sae says. But Nichan always passes to me, so why not? Nobody else is good enough for me. That's why it's okay to move on impulse without thinking. What will you do when I'm not around? I don't know, but I guess I'll look for a replacement, Rin says nonchalantly. Who would that be? Who the hell do you think I am, huh? Sae jokingly kicks Rin. Ow. Yeah, you're the world's best. Itoshi Sae. Their faces are red, bathed by the sunset. It's interesting to see the sea changing colors rapidly. They never get tired of watching it. However, this is the last time they're going to spend time like this. Tomorrow, Sae and Rin will be parting ways, so the usual popsicles and the usual pranks will end today. I'm going to Spain tomorrow. I'm going to play soccer in the youth team for the best club in the world, Real Madrid. The Kamakura United Youth, with which the Itoshi brothers belong to, won the Japan Club Youth Championship under 15. Competed as the ace despite being a first-year junior high school student. Sae was a key player in winning the championship. He was highly regarded for his potential and was finally approached by Real Madrid. When it was decided that Sae will be joining them, the media went wild. Sae says, I'm just going first. Come after me. Don't give up while I'm gone. At Sae's words, Rin nodded reassuringly. Okay, my goal is to become the best in Japan and get scouted like Nichan. And then we will become the world's best together. Sae's words made him very happy. With a clap, their hands overlapped. Let's go home. Rin suddenly remembers a match in the junior youth category of his club team. In combination with Sae, he cut through the enemies and received a perfectly timed last pass in front of the goal. Rin's shot drew a parabolic line and was sucked into the goal. It was a great feeling. Just now, that shot was naive, Rin. However, his Nichan is strict. Now one tempo faster. Can you do it? Sure, I'll try. Again, they're playing with their opponents with their combination, then a strong shoot from a sharp last pass. This time it was perfect. Sae and Rin are invincible. Playing soccer with Nichan is fun. When I'm with Nichan, I'm invincible. Me and Nichan are going to be the world's best, so he has to be patient even if he's lonely. Rin tightly closed his lips in a straight line. The next day at the airport, they saw off Sae, who was leaving for Spain. Take care, Sae. Rin began playing soccer alone. Rin in his room that he used to share with Sae, and he looks over at all the trophies Sae has won. From that day on, Rin decided to practice on the grounds in the morning before anyone else. Even during school classes, he reads books about soccer, reads articles about Sae's success, and thinks about soccer all the time. That's why his test scores are bad, but he doesn't care about that. Besides, he's only doing well in English to succeed in the world. Even if his other grades are bad, there is no problem from Rin's perspective. After school, he goes to club team practice every day. After he practiced with the team, he always practiced on his own every day until he was the last one to leave. On the empty practice field, he earnestly kicked the soccer ball. He shoots at the point he aimed. He keeps shooting. He tells himself that shot's still naive. He shoots until he is satisfied. Even after returning home, he continued muscle training and stretching in front of Sae's trophies. It's tough, but it will pay off on his muscles, and stretching is important to prevent injury. When he's done, he watches a horror movie and then goes to bed. This is his daily routine. For some reason, since Sae has been gone, he only watches horror movies. Movies, videos, and even games. Should be chilling and scary. Playing horror games alone at night is quite thrilling. Just like this, Rin's stoic days pass. Rin tells himself, I'll get stronger. My aim is to be like Nichan. However, no matter how hard he tried, reality didn't go as expected. Rin hit a wall early on. Something's not right, he tells himself. For some reason, he couldn't make shots like he used to. When it came to matches and simulated practice, he just couldn't seem to get a good combination with his teammates. What's wrong? Feeling under the weather? You gotta properly look at the whole thing in play. The coach will worry about him, and his teammates will warn him. The harder he tries, the more he feels like he's going nowhere. In agony, he heads to the club practice today as well. He's eating a popsicle at the penny candy store as he was munching on it. The word lost appeared on the stick. Oh, did you win? When he pumped his fist, the Oni at the penny candy store called out to him. Nope, I lost. You're happy because you lost? You're a strange kid, aren't you? It's fine. I don't want to use my luck. The reason he's happy with that loss is because long ago, Sae said, those who use their luck on things like this can't be the best in the world. Now that he thinks of it, maybe he was trying to cover up the fact that his younger brother Rin was the winner and he's the loser. Sae hates to lose. Even so, not jinxing it, but Rin's a bit happy when he loses. In fact, even if he wins, he won't eat the second one. He just throws it in the trash to destroy the evidence, because that's what Sae did. Like this, Rin does nothing but imitate Sae. Why does he feel like he can't catch up? Of course that he knows that he can't always win just because of hard work. Even so, it's hard not to get any results despite his stoic efforts. He's been practicing the same as Sae, and if anything, Rin's physique is better, but he can't score goals, he can't win matches. But he tells himself, I'll do it. I'm going to be like Nichan. It has now been 6 months since Sae has been gone. At last he understood why things were not going well. Neither their coach nor his teammates have the slightest idea of Rin's image of play in his head. Rin tells himself if it was Nichan, he would have made a pass here. He thought so many times during today's practice. He jumped down in front of the goal to a position where I said here, but his teammates were like, huh? There. Also, their coach would scold him when he needed to be saying, Rin, what are you doing? Watch the ball properly. Could have just scored directly now, Rin tells himself. Even when he gets a pass, his timing is a step or two behind. He didn't realize it because he was doing combination plays with Sae for so long, but it's because Sae is a genius that Rin could share his image with him. Even in a high-level club team, no one can handle Rin's moves. That's why Rin's the only one that feels left out. He recalls a conversation with Sae where Sae tells him, what will you do when I'm not around? Rin says, I don't know, but I guess I'll look for a replacement. At that time, he said it without thinking, but now he understands. No one can replace Sae. That's why as soon as there was no passes left from Rin couldn't score a goal anymore. On the way home from practice, as he walks along the road by the sea, he lets out a sigh. He sits down by himself at the embankment where Sae and him used to eat popsicles. The sun is set so early that the sky is already turning dark blue. The monotonous sound of the waves makes him feel sad and depressed. If only Nichan was here. I could have scored as many goals as I want. The Itoshi brothers are invincible. With Sae gone, he doesn't think he would be able to play so well. No matter how much he practices and improves his shooting accuracy, it is meaningless if he can't score in a game. A striker who can't score is not a striker. Come to think of it, my first goal was also a pass from Nichan. He remembers being taken to a game by Sae a long time ago. Rin was still small, playing monsters and hero toys all the time, but Sae was already famous as an 8-year-old soccer prodigy. On the field, Sae did a great job. Stop him. What the hell's with this guy? Get everyone over there. Opposing players who are much bigger than Sae try to stop him from dribbling. Then he quickly overtakes them and he shoots. His opponents were like, he got us, while his allies are like, you're amazing, Sae. After watching Sae's game several times, Rin becomes fascinated with soccer, or rather of Sae's play. That day, Rin was waiting for the game to end while playing with monsters and hero toys on the side of the field. Before he knew it, he was glued to Sae's play. The whole opposing team was trying to stop Sae, but they couldn't. They were so busy to properly deal with him. Rin wonders to himself, I wonder if I could be like him. He wants to be strong and cool like his brother. He clearly remembers thinking that in the second half of the match. Sae, who was being marked by 2 opponents, slipped out to the side with his splendid dribbling. From there, he made a high pass to his teammate in front of the goal. It was a brilliant side attack. However, his teammates couldn't keep up with him at all, and they could only look away at the ball into a space where no one else is. Just before it falls, this ball, it's a pass. It went to the goal. It was Rin who kicked it, and that was his first ever goal. He didn't know what happened, but the next thing he knew, he was jumping into the field and taking a direct shot. Suddenly, a little kid broke into the game and kicked the ball, causing a commotion among the players. Everyone's like, hey, who's this little guy? Don't come in here on your own. Rin knew that he was not allowed to enter the field during the game, but his body reacted on its own. The pass of his brother. His brother came to him with a frightening look on his face. I'm sorry, brother. This is bad. He's gonna be mad because I interfered with the game. That's what he thought. Sae comes to him and says, you're amazing, Rin. The grim-faced Sae patted his head. Play soccer with me. You can be the best next to me. Rin says, okay. He was so happy to be praised by a super cool brother. From that day on, Sae and Rin's dreams were set. Sae is the best striker in the world, and Rin is the second best striker in the world. Then to win the World Cup, Sae has already taken a big step towards that dream. And yet I am, says Rin. He feels he is regressing rather than stepping back. Don't give up while I'm gone. He thought he heard Sae's voice. I won't give up, he says to Sae. It was far away across the sea. But what should he do? Rin, who is still 11 years old, doesn't know. Looking at the night sea, Rin let out another big sigh. It has now been 2 years since Sae left for Spain. Rin never misses morning training, self-training, and muscle training. He continues to work hard. His daily routine remains the same, and watching horror movies before going to bed has become a completely regular habit. Lately he's been into splatter films. The one where a killer comes out with an electric saw and a big ass axe, then blood splatters all over the place. The one where a killer chases you no matter how hard you try to escape, and if you get caught, you end up being dismembered. His heart is pounding, but he's not the type to show on his face, so Rin watching the slaughter scene without any expression on his face is much more horrifying. Around this time, Rin had reached a major turning point in his life. His first year at junior high school, he was selected as a key player in the youth team of his club. It was no surprise considering his ability. Because of his talent and hard work, Rin has already acquired extraordinary ability. However, unlike Sae, who is an absolute ace, Rin's reputation as a striker was incomparably low. It was only at first that they said he's the next best thing to Sae. Now they said that even though he is his younger brother, he's a disappointment and their decision-making ability are worlds apart. We're not winning at all. Damn it, we're done for. On the practice match that day, with their attack being inconsistent, it ended in a 1-1 draw. The atmosphere in the locker room after the game is worse. The team used to be a top-level club team, but since the pillar of their team, Sae, had gone, the level has been declining. Today's opponent was a team that they could have overwhelmingly won against in the past. We're not at a level where we can aim to be the best in Japan right now. Rin is also worried inside, although he doesn't show it on his face. If only Sae is here, we could have won. Someone said it. Triggered by this comment, the team's frustration turns to their quiet ace, Rin. Without his brother, he's just an ordinary guy. He's just been blessed up until now. His brother could have won for the team by himself. They deliberately let him hear all that backbiting. Hey, Rin calmly lost his temper for a second. Then give me the pass I want. Rin wants to shout at him. Even in today's game, in Rin's image, there was many chances to score. But whose fault is it that they don't live up to his image? At this rate, he thought he'd give him a beating. He clenched his fist. It doesn't matter if he's a senior. Rin's bloodlust scared his teammates and they backed away. Well, isn't that the truth? Because you can't score like Sae, so we aren't winning. He's at a loss for words. What these guys are saying are frustrating, but it's true. Without Sae's passes, he can't play the way he wants to play, and it's also true that Rin, the ace, is largely responsible for their team's inability to win. You can't score a goal by yourself. Rin, who has been silent, was subjected to a barrage of ruthless words. Unable to say anything back, Rin left the locker room. He's frustrated, but he doesn't miss his daily routine. When he gets home, it's training, stretching, and horror movies. And tonight, another splatter film. A killer with an electric saw is persistently chasing someone, and just when they relieve they have escaped, the killer comes up behind them. Whoa, that's sick, says Rin. As he watches the scene of the killer chopping up the young campers to pieces, little by little, he starts to calm down. After watching movie, he laid down on his bed. It was interesting, so we'll watch the sequel tomorrow. His brother got scouted when he was my age. What the hell am I doing, says Rin. In the room, there are only Sae's trophies, and none of Rin's trophies have been added. Suddenly, his eyes met Sae's in the photo. Nichan, I wonder what you're doing. When he searched for news about Real Madrid on his phone, an article about Sae came up. It was in English, but he desperately read the news on Sae, and managed to read the soccer article in its original text. Sae Itoshi made his way on the bench. That being said, in the youth team's matches, it seems that Sae was chosen as a bench member. Nichan is really amazing. It's awesome, but he's anxious. He can't go on like this. He can't fulfill his promise. It's frustrating, but it's true that I can't score goals by myself. If Nichan's not here, what kind of soccer can I play? He thinks back to today's game. He felt as if he was fighting alone. No one on his team can keep up with his movements, and his line of attack breaks before reaching the goal. Rin can see the route to the goal. Regardless of theories and tactics, only Rin has a sense to smell a goal. Only Sae understands his talent. Even if he gets out of the way with a move that no one can read, it's okay to move on impulse because of Sae's pass. However, in a match without Sae, even if he gets out of tip position, he thinks he's the best. No pass will come to him. He was an irreplaceable talent, but because of his talent, he's unable to play as a team player. I can't play the way I used to play with my brother anymore. He's not going to play the eye to score the goal style anymore. I have to change my mindset to make this team the best in Japan, to fulfill my responsibility as an ace. Also, to fulfill the promise I made to my brother. Until now, he's been playing, aiming for the goal. From now on, he will play so that the team can reach the goal. Draw an image of the finisher and then work backwards. Build up that image using my teammates. Let's try to play that way. I can't score goals by myself. That was the conclusion Rin came to. The team keeps going up because of Sae. With Sae gone, the team suddenly ceased to function. Rin then decides, then I will be the replacement for my brother. The next day, Rin drastically changed his playstyle. Now we're in part 2 of the spin novel. The next practice match, his teammates are saying, nice one Rin, go up the side. At the end of the second half, it's 3-0, a crushing victory. I can easily back it up, but from there on, no pass will ever come. Rin erases his best image and then captures the whole picture. In his head, he sees the movements of all the players, as if filmed from a drone, an image leading up to a shot. It's not about me getting a goal. The only option that could get us to the score is... And thinking to himself, Rin intentionally didn't get out of that space and got it past. The defenders gather to stop Rin. He could dribble and force his way through, but he doesn't do that either. He draws the enemy to the very edge. On the opposite side, his teammates come up. He makes a sharp pass on the route between him and the goal. Now run. Chasing the ball from Rin, he runs 1-2. The goalkeeper is so focused on Rin that it slowed down his reaction. With Rin's last pass, they score a shot. His teammates said alright and made a victory pass. Boring, thinking Rin. If his brother had been there, he would have passed the ball to him in front of the goal and he would have scored it directly. He stopped thinking, no pass is coming. That is now the reality. Anyway, the team won for the first time in a long time. Good job. That shot you made was great. The more the coach and teammates rejoice, the colder Rin's feelings become. But this made it clear, in order for this team to win, he would have to adapt himself to the team's abilities, rather than seeking someone who could match his abilities. In this way, he would pull the whole team up. It's as if a child prodigy who can understand high school math has to do addition and subtraction in grade school. Still, we have to win. I made a promise to my brother. I used my new weapon and make my team win. In order to catch up with his brother, he saw off at the airport. He has to make the team's victory his top priority. To do so, he must hold himself back. Hold back the you who's trying to steal the goal with everything you have, using that sense of smell for the goal, and assemble an attack as a team play. This decision by Rin was the best choice for his goal of making the team the best in Japan. As evidence of that, the team has been reborn since Rin changed his style. The team became a winning team, just as it had been when Sae was with them. The team's atmosphere improved, and with regards to Rin, even his reputation shoots up. Rin, as expected of an ace, you are Sae's younger brother after all. Even their manager and coach entirely changes their attitude towards him. You scored another shot, you're a genius. Whoa, we're so strong. When it comes to his teammates, he wonders what they are talking about. No one understands Rin's frustrations. They can win, so that's fine. It's as if they are marionette strings attached to his teammates, controlling and moving the team. That is Rin's new weapon. It is a play that can only be made with Rin's combination of technical, physical, and tactical skills. It has also led him to bring out the best in his teammates. His teammates give their all without even realizing that they are being played by Rin. By getting getting a pass at the best time, they can play beyond their capability. Ironically, when Rin abandoned his growth as a striker, the level of the team was raised as a whole, making them more capable of winning. Rin successfully took Sae's place. That's why there were more trophies for Rin to receive. The team won the tournament and he received their most valuable player award. He put his trophy next to Sae's. With this, I can catch up with KiiNGKhyy. He's relieved to finally see the results of his efforts. However, the soccer he's been playing freely up until now was turning into something feeling terribly crippling that follows him around. It is suffocating and boring. Perhaps because of the stress, he has recently been watching shark movies at night where sharks attack humans. It's refreshing to see a giant man-eating shark attack and munch on humans. Sharks are sensitive to the smell of blood, and their sharp jagged teeth can grow back many times. He got to know more about sharks for nothing. He looked at Sae's picture next to the trophy. I wonder if KiiNGKhyy felt this way too. Sae in the picture looked grumpy and didn't say anything to him. I'm sure even KiiNGKhyy played in Japan was such a burden. That's why he went abroad to Spain in search of playing soccer freely. Sae, who has been leading the team, may have been holding himself back as a striker. He finally understood Sae's feelings. If that's the case, he would do the same. He felt that Sae in the picture smiled a little. Rin, a full-on striker, became a ruler on the field. His teammates are his pawns. Move them well, and if they get to the goal, you win. Rin lures the enemies away and takes them down. He let them get caught in his fake shots. He pretends to go by himself, then outwits them with this pass. By letting them misread him, he always gets ahead of them. It also meant that the dimension of his thinking was getting higher and higher. He carried out the game according to the plot he had drawn up. Not impulse, but thinking. His playstyle has changed, but not what's in his mind. If only KiiNGKhyy was here. He still thinks the same as when he was in grade school. Sae was not only cool, but also kind. He taught him how fun soccer is and brought him ice cream. It was Sae who trained and made Rin a striker. I want to play soccer with him again. I want to shoot with KiiNGKhy's passes. This thought is always in Rin's mind. That is why it's necessary to completely seal off his impulse now. The obsession with scoring goals and the ego as a striker are not needed in this team. Besides, this style of play was very well received by adults, including their manager. Rin finally understands how to be a team player, making the most of your teammates and contributing to the team. That's what Japanese soccer is all about. That's what the Japanese like to see. Team play rather than individual skill is praised more often than individual performance. Even for his teammates, Rin is now a dependable ace. One day after practice, recently Rin has changed. He's probably paying attention to his surroundings while playing. Instead, a guy who's a forward while munching on a piece of a convenience store bought chicken. While Rin stays out late for his routine free practice, the rest of his teammates go to a convenience store to buy something to eat before going home. He really did change. He's indeed Sae's younger brother. He's really talented, isn't he? Said the guy who was eating in Frankfurter. But you don't really know what he's thinking, right? Asked the guy who had brought tuna mayo while peeing on all. Well, he doesn't talk much. It's kind of scary. Rin's attitude towards soccer is so stoic that it's very intimidating to be around him. If they try to frolic around during practice, he'll give them a death stare. Rin entered the third year of junior high school. Finally, the Japan Club Youth Championship Under 15 began, a battle that Rin absolutely could not lose. Because of this, he's into Japanese horror these days. It's not showy, but it's slowly getting scarier and scarier. He thought he was going to scream when he saw a female ghost peeking through a gap in the Japanese sliding screen. He's so glad he doesn't have a sliding screen in his room. Come to think of it, I haven't liked horror movies since KiiNGKhyy went to Spain. In bed, he dozes off and ponders. Perhaps because those feel-good shots that had been made with Sae's passes were gone, that he saw a stimulating alternative. Back then, soccer gave Rin agitation and immersion. He was so absorbed that he forgot about himself and just gave in to his impulses, wildly and almost maniacally aiming at the goal. Every day was exciting enough to make him quiver. When you get chills from a horror movie, you release a hormone called adrenaline. Adrenaline increases heart rate, blood pressure, and blood glucose levels, and you become less agitated and less likely to feel pain or fatigue. In other words, it puts you in a fight or flight mode. For Rin, perhaps the adrenaline from watching horror movies replaced the agitation and tension of playing soccer for impulse. For whatever reason, he is now a horror movie fanatic. While it was the tournament's first game, we'll definitely win. With determination, he closed his eyelids. Rin and his team, KiiNGKhyy United Youth, were doing well, winning in the tournament. They won the semifinals by a score of 2-0, taking back the power of their heydays, returning to the locker room with bright smiles on their faces. We did it. Rin, we're counting on you for the finals. Pass me a good one. The teammate who scored the second goal tapped him on the shoulder. This is fine. Even in the next one, he just has to control the game thoroughly. Rin clenched his fist. And then at last, the finals. KiiNGKhyy United Youth versus Kashima and Gomez Youth. We're gonna win for sure. Alright, I'm gonna score another goal today. While his teammates were fired up, Rin was alone on his phone. KiiNGKhy's trending on Twitter. He scored a hat-trick at Real Madrid's youth team match. How amazing that is for a Japanese. Soccer fans on Twitter are so excited that they've lost their vocabulary saying how insane, awesome, and strong he is. Jumping from trends to articles, he found a feature on Itoshi Sae as the player who will be the future of Japanese soccer. KiiNGKhy's on his way to becoming the best striker in the world. He won't lose to those top players overseas. As he wins this match, he too. He feels even more excited. Let's go, Rin. It's time. When a manager called him out, Rin stood up. Yes, on the patches leading to the field, Rin squinted his eyes as the light coming in from the outside was too bright. Beyond the light is the battlefield of the decisive battle. It's the first waypoint of my promise to KiiNGKhyy. With this match, I'll go after KiiNGKhyy. Their final opponents, Kashima and Gomez Youth, was an offensive soccer team. Their forwards are of high quality. Their offense is polished and they connect one chance after another. Rin's team, KiiNGKhyy United Youth, were on the defensive. Rin, who has a good grasp of the entire field, was able to read the opponent's attack and just barely hold them off. He stops the opponent's shot with his body. keeps the loose ball quickly and makes a long pass to his teammate. Rin makes a pass to the perfect position, but just one step away, it was cleared by the opponent. In the attack right after that, Rin made a decisive pass, but the ball was stolen by the imposing team. In his head, he thinks we can't win this. No matter how much Rin manipulates the team and passes the ball to the best point, the opponent's ability level is still higher than theirs to begin with. Bringing out the best performances from his teammates doesn't lead to goals. Rin tells himself, we can't keep going like this. Their back and forth battle continues, and their stamina is steadily running out. It's still 0-0 with 3 minutes remaining in the second half. These guys can't score with my pass. If it's me and KiiNGKhyy, we could have won, says Rin. His memories reel back, combining with Sae to cut through the enemies, the heat at the moment of scoring a goal from Sae's last pass. The most feel-good and hottest soccer, it brings back that impulse to pursue only the goal. An aura of ego dwells in Rin's eyes. His KiiNGKhyy scored a goal for Real Madrid. He just wants to score a goal too. The impulse, which he had been suppressing for so long, pushed Rin forward. I cannot afford to lose in a place like this, says Rin. With a snap, the strings controlling his teammates break, and at the same time, Rin's striker switch is flipped. Take this, Rin yells. With a fierce tackle, he steals the ball from the enemy. Nice, Rin, counter, his teammate shouts. But Rin dribbles and tries to force his way through. However, there are enemies blocking his direction. Rin, don't keep it to yourself. The coach instructs, but he ignores it. The enemy is coming closer and closer. Hey Rin, what are you doing? Pass it. The coach's angry voice went out. Rin in his mind, shut up. Don't fetter on the caliber you can see. Rin isn't doing anything reckless. Even though he was driven by his ego, in his mind he was watching the match more calmly than anyone else. The player's stamina was running out as the game unfolded in a deadly struggle. With their concentration declining, sloppy play and petty mistakes are born. Soon the performance of both teams will hit bottom. Rin has it all figured out, and then, at this timing, Rin says, I can see the route I should destroy. Rin dribbles, slipping through the enemy lines. Beating one, then two in a row, he rushes toward the goal. The audience in the background saying, whoa, that guy's amazing. Oh, that number 10 can actually play like that? Confused. A roar arises from the audience. It was the kind of play that was supposed to be sealed, a play that was only meant to get you a goal. I can score a goal all by myself, says Rin. He runs up the field. His unexpected movements, completely different from anything they had ever seen before, are both messing with his teammates and opponents. Crushed at number 10, the players of the opposing team attacked at once. Rin says to himself, too slow. At the timing when the enemy rushed into Rin, he made a trifling pass. As if taunting them, the ball goes through a small gap in the enemy team and connects with his teammate. Huh? You're passing now? Enemies who gather around the ball fall over at once. Rin runs forward to the goal as fast as he can. The teammate who gets the pass looks at Rin. Rin's eyes were filled with bloodlust that he had never seen before. He was overwhelmed by the heat that burned him, which he could not imagine from the usually cool Rin. If he doesn't pass now, he'll get beaten up. No, he would get killed for real. With such a feeling similar to fear, he made a pass as if he was being pressured. At that moment, the ball came to him. Rin put his tongue out. Concentration. Impulse. Rin's foot catches the ball. A superb shot flashed past the goal, and it's in. That number 10 is awesome. The crowd cheered wildly. It was the first time in a long time they had felt like he was on his own route to the goal, and it was a great feeling to have scored a goal by himself. Rin's teammates gathered around him as they screamed, 1-0, and it was the final goal. 4 years of holding himself back and 3 minutes of releasing his ego. With Rin's goal, their team became the best team in Japan. We're now into part 8. Even after becoming the best in Japan, Rin's days are still the same. After practicing at the club, he works on his shooting by himself. It's freezing. We're heading out first, Rin. His teammates are leaving one after another. He can see his breath from the cold. He won the Japan Club Youth Championship, clearing one of his goals. In those 3 minutes, he felt like he was one step closer to Sae, manipulating others, putting them to good use, furthermore, making them obey you. Those were Rin's new weapons. Once he had settled on a shot that satisfies him, he looked at his phone to check the time, and the online news headline popped out. Itoshi Sae temporarily returned to Japan. A full off-season. What will he be doing in Japan for a long time? Rin thinks to himself, it's been 4 years. Tomorrow KiiNGKhyy's coming home. It's been a long time since I've seen him. When he thinks of his brother, Rin goes back to being a little kid who thought KiiNGKhyy is so cool. For the past 4 years, he has had almost no contact with Sae in Spain. Sae didn't come back either, and he felt it was not right to talk about his troubles to him, who was working hard to become the best striker in the world. Rin thinks to himself, what should I tell you when we meet? I always watch the news. You're awesome, KiiNGKhyy. I always worked hard and became the best in Japan. I'm coming over there too. What kind of guys are there overseas? I can now make passes like you. I wonder if you can praise me a little just like back then. He's been fantasizing about a lot of things, and the last one came out from his voice. KiiNGKhyy will be the world's #1, then I'll be the #2 best striker in the world. I want us to win the World Cup. That reminds him, he thinks he said the same thing now in the essay he read out at Parents' Day when he was in grade school. My dream for the future is to become a soccer player like my brother. Then he will become the best striker in the world, and I will be the second best striker in the world and win the World Cup. He laughs again, finding it funny that he hasn't changed since then. For the sake of his dream, he resumes his shooting practice. The accuracy of Rin's shot is a result of his uncompromising image and strict practice. His hands and feet are freezing from the cold, and his nose is already red, but he won't allow his shot to be off. However, it'll be much colder tonight. Rin tells himself, it's snow. If you feel cold, it's the snow. White snow is falling from the night sky. Rin, who grew up in Kamakura, rarely sees snow, so he couldn't help but look at it. Someone in the background tells him, wasn't that shot naive? While he was entranced by the fluttering snow, he heard a familiar voice from behind. When he turned around, Sae was there. The falling snow reflects the lights on the ground and sparkles. In the snow that shimmered beautifully, as if like an illusion, Sae was standing. His heart leaps. It wasn't an illusion. He was carrying a large suitcase, and he could tell he had come here straight from the airport. Rin thinking, KiiNGKhyy. He thought he would just shout out loud, "I'm the best in Japan," and hug him, but in reality, that didn't work out that way. Sae's expression was grim and looking terribly worn out. He wasn't the kind of person to smile, but even so, he had never shown this kind of face to Rin. "Welcome back." "Yeah, I'm back." He wonders what's wrong. Is he tired from the plane ride, or is he not feeling well? "It's been 4 years, huh? But weren't you supposed to return tomorrow?" Wonders if he isn't glad to see him after so long. Sae says, "Yeah, I came ahead of schedule." The snow continues to fall. He doesn't know why, but his brother seems so far away. It's sad and scary. The story of Rin, who longed for and only chased after Itoshi Sae, ends here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is a great story and spin-off novel. I hope you guys definitely check it out. Check out Hoshi801 on Twitter for translating and everything. And thank you guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. Peace.